to the Cheryl Underwood Show.
That's what I'm talking about, Courtney Black. Where are we going, Kyle Irving?
George R. Smith College in Sedalia, Missouri. It was open from 18.
It's Courtney Black with the facts on Cheryl Underwood Radio, and you are in the entertainment segment with Courtney and Kyle. It's time for a social media shout out. Today I'm shouting out from Instagram my girl Donna Webster. What's up, Donna? We appreciate you, girl. If you want me to shout you out, follow us on Instagram at Cheryl Underwood Radio.
You are listening to KUAW Radio, home of the all-new Jamal Bakes Show, and I'm Jamal Bakes, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAWN, of and about our community.
This is comedian Janelle Banks, and you are listening to KUAW, Kansas City.
This weekend is the last weekend before Thanksgiving, and on Blues Time in the City.
You say I be bashing men's.
Man bashing? That's Miss Jody. Man bashing. She's talking this weekend, and Tina Turner's birthday is on Thanksgiving Day, so we're showing Tina much love. Join me, Roger Bailey, for Blues Time in the City. Your weekend stop for the best in blues and southern soul. This weekend, right here.
KUAW listeners, this is Carl Boyd for Wave Your Grades, coming to you every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. right here on KUAW. This program features American students striving for excellence in honor of our troops and American veterans, encouraging American students. Please join us every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. right here on KUAW.
Now on the air in Kansas City, the Cheryl Underwood Show.
We are proud to be part of the KUAW family.
The Cheryl Underwood Show. Weekdays Monday through Friday at 12 noon. KUAW around the world on KUAW.org.
Todd Tribbett, and we gonna be all right here on the Jamal Bakes Show. I'm your brother in Christ, Jamal Bakes. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me, fam, for another weekend, all right? We've got a big show for you, man. As always, the Rose Show Live will be here with her Faith Move next. And we talked to my man, the Laugh Therapist, later on in the show. We've got music on the way from Doe. We've got Corinne Hawthorne, Keandra Lockett, brand new William McDowell. Cannot wait to share that one with you as well, all right? And a whole lot more. Listen, follow me right now on social media.
Bank of Blue Valley is a proud sponsor of KUAW Radio. At Bank of Blue Valley, we believe that an understanding of financial value sets individuals up for a strong future. Whether you want to talk about checking and savings accounts, review lending alternatives, or discuss starting your own business, we have the right people to listen and advise. Visit us at bankbv.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This week on Making Contact,
I think election fraud has always been a problem and a concern to various extents. And the main issue, whether you're talking about paper ballots or voting machines, is transparency. Transparency is really the number one thing. I think you have to really have the public involved from beginning to end.
We've got people that are really trying to cheat to win at all costs. Remember, we are talking about power. Power is never going to be given away by anybody. It has to be taken.
In this Women Rising radio program, we featured 2 election protection activists.
All right, you're listening.
We look fuzzy on this screen. Welcome to Girl Talk. I'm your host, Miss E, joined with my co-host, Outrageous Thurman Davis. What's going on, Thurman? Something got to be going on because you always know something is going on.
Nothing. I'm like, yesterday I celebrated my 39th birthday.
Whoa, you getting up there.
Yeah.
Wow, happy birthday, Thurman. I think that was a hint for those that didn't give you a gift. I'm going to take you out to lunch as soon as the city's open back up. Because it seems like everywhere we go, the restaurant, Quentin's got the more health department people falling out now. I mean, where were they at when we was trying to close up the Metro Fifth Way with all that dirt and all that stuff that they let go on? But as soon as the businesses are opening up, they are out in droves, closing it up. I mean, I never knew they did that kind of work,
And the city, he's already got the city facing a lawsuit.
He said that's a joke.
From one of the owners of the River Market. It has Quentin name attached to it, plus the Jackson County executive, Frank White.
What does he got to do with it? I know his name should be attached to something because if you looked at those taxes are messed up. My tax form, I've been fighting for a year, right? They sent it out incorrectly and told me they didn't have time to correct it. They had a whole year to correct it. I don't know what's going on here. And these people working from home, they're not really working from home. I want to say this too, about the children that are missing out in school before we go into the domestic violence and stuff. The children that are missing school, I was at Costco's and I missed my brother Charles because normally we would go to Costco's, but Charles can't go because they're not giving out free food. So he doesn't want to ride in the basket unless he's getting some free food. Because we push him around in that little children's basket, and act like he's one of the special needs people. And but anyway, I've noticed, and Terrence is at Costco's, right? I noticed that more liquor sales. I'm talking about them gigantic bottles of liquor that the parents are buying. One lady had a whole, and this is not even close to the holidays, after the holiday, they are buying the liquor in cases. Why is that, Terrence?
Because you got alcoholics who need to go to AA. Their kids at home with them because of they homeschooling or whatever, online schooling. So they got alcohol plus cigarettes plus weed.
Plenty of toilet paper.
Oh, don't mention toilet. Don't mention toilet paper.
The hoarders have taken all the toilet paper. The hypochondriacs have taken all the slots that you could go get tested in.
Why would you want to get tested anyway? They're going to tell you to go home and isolate yourself. That is the craziest stuff. They tell you, okay, you got corona. Go home and isolate yourself for 7 to 10 days until you get a positive. Unless you go to Jackson County and then jail, then you continuously would test positive. That's crazy. Now when you go in, it used to be, I don't know how it is for you guys that's married, but for single people, you would kind of like ask certain questions, hint around. Have you ever had any STDs, or would you possibly have HIV or AIDS, or have you been around anybody that that had? Now the first thing can I see your papers for, have you been tested for corona? We forgot about all the other major diseases, you know what I'm saying, that people can catch. Except for the coronavirus, which will be gone, I'm saying, by January the 21st. Anybody want to take me up on that? No, it's going to be gone by, when do we take the office take effect for the president?
January 20th?
It's going to be gone the 21st. That's what I'm saying. It is. It's going to be gone by the 21st, and we're going to go back to life as normal. As the normal that we have accepted. Because a lot of people has accepted the life that they have been giving now and are obeying all the rules, which they don't even know that changes from day to day. Okay, Charles, you run, what's the name of Charles and them show that they have up here? That's what he runs. He don't run this one. He's going to put out his thing on here, advertising. Well, you know what we do to people that don't pay for advertising? We block them. We're going to get into some information before we get into the domestic violence part of what's going on. So one of the information is tomorrow there will be a food drive bank that's hosted by Mount Zion and Councilman Brandon Ellington under the direction of Charles Johnson. It's going to be at 3634 Brooklyn from 1 to 3 p.m. So just get in line and just drive through. And one of the great things about their food drive is that because of the area that they're in, they also have allow walk-ups. You know, walk-up people that walk in and can walk up and pick up their food. But don't get caught getting out of your car, walking through the line, and you have a car there, because Charles is like the FBI. He will find you and make you get out of line and go put your car in line. So that's tomorrow from 1 to 3 p.m. And Team Ellington, which is always great supporters of that. Also, we have today, we just found out, Thurman, you want to announce that?
Yes. Next Thursday, Councilman Brandon Ellington is asking everyone to come down and support ordinance number 20078, which is for the Office of Community Community Complaints.
No, it's not. Community engagement.
Engagement, yeah.
You getting it all wrong. So we're gonna have to correct you. And what the Office of Citizen Engagement is for all of you that's been working boots on the ground, nonprofits that haven't been getting funded. This is a way, if you have a base that you can tally what you're doing, proving work. This is your chance to get in. This is your chance to get funded. So it's very important that you contact every last one of the city council members and tell them that we want to see this Office of Citizen Engagement put through. That's going to be next
Thursday, so it's going to be at the full council session next Thursday, which starts at 3:00 on the 26th floor.
Right, but in the meantime, they need to contact all of the city council people,
even the mayor,
and make them understand that we need this in our community in order for us to get what we need. And the organizations that are working, we need to get them in place. So we need to save our community. And we can only do that by emailing each one of the city council people. If you don't know who they are, make Google your friend and Google them. Just go to the city website and they got every last one of the council people listed and who their aides are and who they can email them to. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else before we go on? Oh, GYRL, GYRL. We're going to be putting out something. We have been greatly appreciative of being able to be in a contest, and this contest will allow five different organizations, I believe. No, I don't know. It allows maybe 4 or 5. I'm not sure. An opportunity to win $10,000 in advertisement for a year, which is really, really great, because GYRL is like one of the best kept secrets. You know, for us to ask people to help promote us, we get nil to none. It's like silence. You know, it's like crickets. We say we're swimming, they drain the pool. You know what I'm saying? So we need help. All you have to do is go to this website. It's going to be on my page, and it will be on Girl Talk's page too. And if you haven't liked Girl Talk, please like Girl Talk page. And all you have to do is enter your email address. The ones with the most votes will win. And we're hoping that all it costs is you is a click in your email to nominate Giving Yourself Real Love. You won't see GYRL. You'll see our legal name, which is Giving Yourself Real Love. That's where GYRL comes from, Giving Yourself Real Love. And speaking of real love, today was one of those days that, like any other day, that I received so many horrific and devastating calls concerning domestic violence. Domestic violence in our area, our community, which is really the metropolitan area, has increased tenfold. You know, I mean, people are locked up in the house with their abusers. People are going to people's house and being abused. We have to do something to break this cycle of domestic violence. We know it's happening. We've had over 11 women murdered this year. That's almost one woman per month that's been murdered due to domestic violence. The other ones, they have not called them domestic violence because they haven't been classified as domestic violence. But we know the true definition of domestic violence is one that has established a relationship. So that can go from brother to sister, mother to daughter, neighbor to neighbor. It's anybody that you have established a relationship, not sexual, but a relationship with. So what in return, what Girl is going to do, we're putting together our 21 programs for next year. We're hosting a meeting Saturday at our office. If you would like to be involved or if you like collaborations, we are collaborating this year with many organizations that are actually working to combat the different areas of our community. Girl doesn't only just work with domestic violence. That's one of our major projects that we are known for, which is our Hands Off project. But we have youth programs, we have women programs, we have men programs. We partner with our brother group, I Am My Brother's Keeper. They in turn help us with our Young Kings program, which we have males from the ages of 7 to 21. And so the boys are taught separately from the girls in some areas. We come together in our community, which we're hoping to kick off again just as soon as we get our facility rehabbed. And that part right there will be unique in itself because we have the great chef, Natasha Ellington, that will be teaching culinary arts over there. So we're very excited about that. And maybe a couple more people will be doing culinary. But we're going to turn that into a culinary arts program. And we're also going to turn facing another arts program. And this will be sponsored by Eddie Griffin. So we're very excited. And we're looking for people that want to collaborate with us that are truly, truly about saving the community. So we're putting all the great minds together, the great heads together, and we're coming together Saturday for the leadership and the program directors at 11 a.m. because we got to be home by 10 p.m. right? So 11 a.m. And then for you guys that want to volunteer, we're putting you together at 1 p.m. So from 11 to 1, the great minds will come together. We are very excited. We're going to be ready for that office of engagement when it opens up. We're going to be busting through that door because we're going to be able to have our own school program. You know, I'm so excited about that. The things that we're actually doing, the mind, body, and soul programs that we're going to be offering, that we offer now, the counseling, the mentorship, which we do offer now. And we're going to build up the Girl Village, which is at 38th and Chestnut. So we implore all of y'all to get involved with us and become a part of it. If you have an organization that just needs to get out there, you know, come work with us. We have Thurman that's going to be helping us directing the social media. We can get him not to change our words. So Thurman, what do you think about it?
Yeah, something that's been needed. You know, as I sit here and run these 3 Facebook groups, you got I run KC events, the Resource Center. I got Job KC. I'm like, I give out a bunch of information every day. People just come just to see what events are going on, what group is doing what and whatever. I'm like, so information is needed.
Yeah, information is needed, but what's really needed is for people to get up on their feet and make some things happen. You know what I'm saying? Because we can sit back all day and want for somebody to do for us. But the reality is, if we don't get up and do it ourselves, it's not going to be done. You know, and speaking of not getting done, you know, it is very devastating when you pick up a phone and somebody is telling you that they're in a situation and they want to get out of it, but they don't know how to get out of it. So we're going to be hosting workshops on how do you leave. You know, it's preparations that you have to make in order, especially dealing with the COVID, because places aren't taking you in, you know, and families are not taking each other in either. The excuse now we're using is, I don't know what you have, so you're not coming here, you know. But, you know, documentation is needed everywhere you go. So it's steps that you need to make. You need to get the copies of the driver's license, birth certificates. Those things are very, very important when you leave. Social security numbers, you know. You need a plan, a way out plan. a contact plan, somebody that you can contact that will, help you. You know what I'm saying? Give you a place to stay or guide you, or contact you. Well, you can't contact them yourself because the shelters don't take you in for domestic violence where you contact them. You have to be homeless and you can contact them. But if you get beat up and your life is about, you're about to be murdered, you can't call for help. That's the craziest stuff I've ever seen. And then we have to provide shelters and safe spaces for those people that's involved in that. Because 9 times out of 10, when a woman is leaving, she's leaving everything. She's risking losing her job. She done already lost her sanity. She's got small children with her, or maybe teenagers with her. It's not too many places to take those in, take teenage children in. So we know what we have in our community. So we have to expand on this stuff in our community. This is why GYRL has been fighting so hard to get help with rehab in our facilities, because we get no funding. People think that we get funding. They think that all this money comes to us. No, it doesn't. The money comes by our blood, sweat, and tears. The money comes by our volunteers. We have some of the best volunteers, but we cannot keep going on with just volunteers. So we have to build our village, and we can do that. All it takes is I have all these skilled people that know how to do this work. They come to us and they want to charge us an arm and a leg. They haven't made any money all year, but they want to make money instantly off of us. I don't understand that. Then you have individuals that steal our money, and then we try to get our money back, and the individual has moved over 19 times in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? 19 times in 2 years, Jason Kendall has moved. And I've been putting it out there, hey, we can't waste our money chasing our money. So now we have to make sure that we have our ducks in a row. We have spoken to the prosecutor's office, and they're willing to help us, But this is a shame that we have to do that, that we have to do that to that degree, that we back where we started at. And by taking our $2,500, which doesn't sound like much money, but it displaced our children and our youth program out for a month. For a month, we have not been able to house our children in our programs. So it means a lot, and the children are calling me saying, when are we going to start back? Because, see, they stuck at home, and they look forward to the things that we offer them, and now you have to tell them we have to wait, because now we have to recoup that loss and be able to, because our children don't pay for our programs. What is that? MMA? MM4? What is that? Martial arts.
Mixed martial arts.
Was it MMA? Yeah. We have a great MMA class. And it was led by somebody else, but now Councilman Ellington leads the MMA. I didn't know he had it in him, but he's a great MMA instructor. Then we have, Jazzy Johnson that does the journalism. Great. The children are learning how to write an interview. Then we have Kenneth Jackson that does the chess programs. These are all done on Saturdays. Beretta McBride that does the helps out everywhere, the knitting, the sewing, and all of that stuff. We do all of these programs at no charge to our children, and everything is a learning. Every part of it is learning. When the young men see K Love and them down there talking to them, their eyes light up, because now they're having a conversation with a man that looks like them. So it's very important that we take care of our own, and stop trying to look for other people to help us. We have room to grow our own stuff. We don't have to just beg people to take care of us, because we've been doing it for many, many years. But I think it's an obligation that if we want to house our victims, we have to have that help. We have to have that help, and unfortunately, we can't even take in used clothing, because the used clothing that they're giving us, people don't clean it. So we can't just go give somebody some clothes that come out of your house that's not clean. So I made the tough decision not to take any more used clothing in. We have to take brand new clothing in. And right now, we got turned down for the toy drive. The children in our area was looking for the toy drive, but I guess Salvation Army is having it just as tough with the toys, themselves. So we're thankful for last year that we was able to. So what we decided to do, the wonderful volunteers and leadership of GYRL, we're going to host our own toy drive. So Saturday, you can drop toys down, new toys, or slightly used toys that can be wiped down and cleaned. We're going to be taking them in our office from 10 until 3. So if people want to bring some toys down there, we can. One of the things that we're also asking for is bras and panties. Bras and panties. And we're asking for the sports bras, to be brought down there, small, medium, and large, and extra large, in the same way in the underwear. Because these are things that people don't think that women need. But when women leaving, they don't grab panties and bras and stuff like that, So we need panties and bras and different deodorants and hygiene products, So if we can get some of those and diapers, we would like that. If we can get bicycles, that would be great too, because the children have asked for bicycles, and we don't have any place that we can go and buy these things at now with no funds. So we're going to host our own toy drive. And if you want to call in, you can call in at 816-599-6893. And let's see what's on your mind. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. Thurman?
I'm like, I have sat there on Facebook and I watched some of these groups basically send out all our calls on stuff that they need, between donations to there's groups calling out for donations for feminine products. There's people talking about they need toys, different things like that, and I'm like, with the year this has been, I know groups like Salvation Army, Toys for Tots, they're stressed in with the donations.
But you know what? This is one of the things I keep hearing everybody saying. This has been such a tough year. For me, it hasn't been. It hasn't been a tough year. It's been a year that has been revealing things. It's been a year that I got to know myself. It's been a year that I got to know my family. It's been a year I got to know that some people were not friends but were foes. So it's been a very eye-opening year. It's a year that I got closer, I think, closer to the God in me, And so I always say I'm in the right place at the right time. It's a lesson in everything, I've learned to be more humble, more grateful, because the things that money could buy was not the things that I needed. I found out when I couldn't see my family, how much I did miss them, how much I did miss my friends. It's been that type of year for me, even though the great losses, I didn't feel them. I didn't feel them like that. What about you, Terrence? No great losses either, huh? You Walker?
No, just an adjustment to what's going on.
It's just an adjustment. And it may, because people say, I believe in manifestation of our words that we speak, right? So I believe that we become, Thurman, give me your attention. I believe that we become what we speak of. When people speak of depression, I believe they put it out there, and it comes to them because the universe doesn't know this is not what you want. It knows that you spoke up to manifest. That's what I get out when I meditate. I try to clear my thoughts and concentrate on the greatness that's in me. And if you don't, I learned this, Sunday, at the Southeast Unity, that when you don't like what's on the outside, you have to go within. So it's always within that brings out the results of the outside. Thurman?
Yeah, I'm like, this year, basically, a lot of people find out who their friends are and who not, because this year you actually had a chance to sit back and look at different people in a different light.
But not only a different light, one of the things that I find most distracting is when you're trying to hold a conversation and somebody is really into their texting. You know, it makes you think, is my conversation not important? You know what I mean? It does. I'm not talking about you, Thurman. Don't no way think I'm talking about you, because I'm not just talking about you, but I've seen it so many times with people that we don't take account of the present company that we have, that we're looking towards another company. You know what I'm saying? And because I like to be personal, I like a person's attention with me, because I'm gonna give you mine, and if I'm not, I'm gonna get up and do something else. And I see this when people in restaurants, you try to have a meal and somebody just texting away. I'm not saying it doesn't always happen, but it does. And this is one of the things that we're learning with the COVID. COVID means cover up. You know, that's what it means, cover up. It's stopping us from communicating. You know what I'm saying? Because children won't learn how to speak because they're not watching your mouth move. Deaf people won't be able to get into the conversation because they're not watching your mouth move. You're not talking because you get tired of talking in the mask. You know, I'm serious. So we learn how not. We're just learning everything that brought us together. You know, and I think that's even worse because my grandmother was deaf, and my grandmother read lips, and so I would think now it would be very difficult for her to communicate in that manner.
All right, go ahead, Tiffany.
Um, hello.
Yes, hello.
No.
I can barely hear.
Hey, Tiffany, I'm trying to hear you. Maybe this.
I can barely hear. The volume is down like super low.
Hello. Ooh.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. What's going on?
I'm sorry.
I said, what's going on?
I was speaking to Thurman in the comments on the Facebook Live, and he said that people were in need, and I was letting him know that if any women had needed bras or girls at my organization, we would be able to help them out with bras.
Well, great. That's what GYRL is. This is awful loud over here. This is what GYRL is seeking, collaborations with people that can help, our clients and stuff that need these things. And we're speaking of, women and young girls that are in need of bras, the sports bras.
Right, and so the name of my organization is called Hold 'em Up for Care. I am on Facebook and on Twitter, and so they can contact me if they need to at 816-892-0749, or they can send me an email at holdemupforcare@gmail.com. And the 4 is a number 4, not FOR. And so what I do is I measure them and fit them and, provide them with free bras.
Okay, could you write that in Thurman's comments or hit GYRL up at GYRL on Facebook?
Yeah, I can send you guys the information.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hop back on you guys live.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
See how God works? And that's all it takes, is that organizations share their resources. And that's what we have to do. We have to share their resources. And, I think that's one of the things that we have always done. We've always shared our resources, the information we have and all of that. And we don't readily get that back. We get the what is that? The crowded effect or whatever when they pull one down. But we have never been like that because we believe that if we don't give it away, it won't come back. We know it's going to come back. We know it's going to come back. And so that's one of the great things that, I think Terrence is one of the most giving people that I know, and I don't see how he does it, but he does it. It's not for me to see how he does it, but he does. He's gifted us with this great show, in order to get the information out. I got a call the other day, and it was really disturbing because on this call, this woman had been married or involved with this man for 20-something years, right? And he told her that he no longer wanted to be in this relationship anymore, that he wanted out of the relationship. And she didn't see how she was going to make it with him leaving. And so throughout the conversation, she was telling me some of the things that was taking place. And I said to myself, because we never try to give them advice whether to go or whether to stay or whatever, that's a decision that you're going to have to make and you're going to have to live with. But she said something that was very devastating. He left. I guess they used to fight years ago or whatever, and he scarred up her face. And she thinks because the scars on her face that he's obligated to stay with her. Because she didn't press charges on him, which could have sent him to jail. So now she thinks that her life has been ruined by the facial marks that's left on her face. Should she go or should she stay?
I'm like, it'd be a time to go. I'm like, just because a guy can basically tell a woman, nobody wants you now because I didn't, I done scarred you up and everything. So I done made sure that nobody else can think you pretty or anything. You're not going anywhere or whatever. And this is some people's mentality. They will scar you up. They will basically beat you to a bloody pulp. I'm like, basically all this.
But you know what? I always think, I guess I have a different feel when it comes to domestic violence. I always feel that if I'm only speaking on the woman's side. I'm not speaking for the male side. I'm not trying to. People say, well, Miss E, you don't have empathy for men that's in domestic violence situations. I can't say that because I do question that. Even though I've been in this field for so many years, I do question that. And I used to watch my mom and my dad fight. And I used to watch my mom sometimes get the best of my dad. But when my dad wanted to get the best of my mom, he got the best of my mom. But I always said, for a man to stay in a domestic violence relationship where he is being abused, I don't understand it. I don't understand how a man stays in a relationship and he is being abused. I can understand the woman's side because I am a woman, but I don't understand how a man can continue to be with somebody that scores him up, beats him up, and all of that. I had an uncle that was very good looking. Very good looking. He was a singer, and he played the drums and he sung. He was very, very popular. He had a drinking problem. He had a lady that you wouldn't think that he would look at, that type of person. Well, she ended up killing my uncle, killing my uncle. And my grandmother never liked the woman, but the woman ended up killing my uncle. My own grandfather was murdered by his wife, so I understand men in relationships where domestic violence happens, but I don't understand why a man stays in that relationship. With a woman, it could be financial, it could be the children, it could be a number of things. But a man, I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I got kicked out of a group because I told him I don't get it. I really don't get why a man that's able to leave does not leave. And if somebody knows why a man stays in an abusive relationship with a female, then let me know. Because I don't see it. Because my grandfather could have left. He left my grandmother. He could have left. My uncle, he could have left. But the dependencies were there some way. Do y'all understand why men stay in relationships that are abusive? What reason would that be for a man? But it's not love. It's not love. Because love doesn't hurt like that. No, that's not love. That's abuse. Now, abuse breeds that. Well, they miscalculated.
And they could be, but I mean, in their mind, I love it.
Because that's a learned behavior, perhaps. Yeah. Maybe their parents beat him like that. Maybe his mother beat him like that. But I truly don't understand why a man Now, dependency, because a lot of these women are raising their boys to be girls. And what I'm talking about, they're not allowing them to do boy things or be boys, so they have all this female emotions built up in them, you know. And I watch it every day, because anytime a man stands and go back and forth with a woman arguing, he's showing me another side, because most men don't even pay attention to women when she start talking a lot. They do just what you just did, shake your head, you know. I mean, they do. You know, they like, okay, we're not going to go back and forth with you, you know. And I don't understand this. I really don't understand it. And I guess the reason why I don't understand it is because I don't want to understand it. I don't want to understand it. I don't physically see it. I've had men call me up and say, she hit me with a pop. Well, you should have ducked. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what you want me to do? You know, you should have ducked. But I do understand, because I do have brothers. I do understand, but I just don't accept it. I just don't accept it. I guess I'm against violence across the table. You know, a woman shouldn't put her hands on a man, and a man shouldn't put his hands on a woman. That's that. I mean, that's how yeah. You know, I wouldn't be in a relationship where I had to fight somebody. You know, I mean, that would be like, man, if I'm not getting paid like Mike Tyson, you know, I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be in a relationship where I was scared to close my eyes at night, but feel that when I wouldn't wake up. Because people really don't understand, when you sleep with somebody, you really taking a chance, because that person could flip out at any moment while you snoring. That's why women sleep with their eyes open, you know, because they're like, hey, I don't know what's going on. But I mean, it's really horrible when you start thinking about, we live in a very violent world, you know, and violence is promoted. You know, it used to be a time where you couldn't cuss on TV. There used to be a time where you couldn't do a whole lot of things on TV. But now our children are sitting there and being programmed to watch all of this stuff. And they see their parents or their mother's boyfriends fighting, or their mother's girlfriends fighting. You know, they on Facebook and their mother's acting just like the children would be acting. I would be embarrassed for even my son now to see me do some things in front of him that I feel I shouldn't be doing. You know, I don't know what that is, but I mean, he would have to just take it down. Shoot, because I probably forget I did it. You know, that's the excuse now when you get this age. I forget I did that. You know, but it's really, really sad that we living in that day and time. Because I couldn't see myself being with nobody that I had to hit or slap. I've never slapped nobody in my whole life. Never. You know, and that's been one of my goals. To be able to know to slap somebody. You know, no, I'm just kidding. But no, I never have slapped anyone. You know, I've never have. I've never seen situations where I had to cuss at somebody that I'm involved with on a regular. You know, a word might slip out every now and then, but when that word actually slipped out, and I have to be very totally honest about it, if I slipped and called you a name, it was intentional. Because I am very aware of what I speak of and what I say. When I start getting to the level of disrespect, it's over with. Because I'm not going to call you outside your name unless I meant to. You know, I mean, that's being honest. People say, oh, I didn't mean to say that. Yes, I did. I meant to say that, you know. And that's when I know when the relationship's over for me, if I have to call you outside your name. Because if you call me outside my name, it's on. So we might as well just say, let's deport, you know, on that. And that's how a lot of people are feeling now. I imagine to be in a situation at home where money has become the whole thing that holds you together. Finances hold you together. You know, nothing else compels you to stay but finances. So you abuse yourself, sell yourself, and allow yourself to be abused. And I'm not talking about just physically, because mentally is a worst whooping you could ever get, you know. And I found that out as a child, that I would rather my father whoop me than to talk to me, because the talk never ended. But my father never whooped me, so I had to listen to all these long talks, you know. I'll be like, Dad, just take me out of this, you know. Don't make me sit here and listen and have to say I'm nobody. You know, at the end, who you think you're? Nobody. And I just said, I'm somebody. I just refuse that. I would say I'm somebody. I'm not going to say I'm nobody. I am somebody, you know. So my mother dealt with me, you know. But to be able to be in a situation and say, you know, Walker, that is love because he beats me. That is love because she cusses me out. That is love because everything that hurts is love. Everything that hurts is love. That's not true. Love is kind. Love is patient. Love don't come with a black eye and a busted lip. It don't. It don't. And people have to love yourself more, because when you don't love yourself is when you allow others to do these things to you. And whether you was raised in this, it has to be something in you that says, I don't deserve this. I am worthy of more. You know, and that's what I tell myself. I'd rather be by myself than be with somebody that makes me be by myself. And I've seen relationships where people are in relationships that they state, I call them situations. They're in relationships and they're lonely. They're lonely. They want out. They're not happy, but the sake of saying I have somebody, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna stay here. Me, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna say I don't have nobody, because definitely this ain't no love. Definitely this is not making me happy. This is aging me. This is making me gain weight. This is making me lose weight. This is making me crazy. This is making me suicidal. This is even attempting me to be a murderer.
Basically, everybody's stressed out. There ain't no love in this relationship, because every day I'm getting beat down mentally and physically. I'm like, every day I hear I'm not crap. You know, you beat me down so bad mentally that I believe everything come out of your mouth now, that nobody's gonna want me. That, you know, that basically I done took it. Especially if you've been in the relationship and every day you come home,
I wouldn't come home
to drama.
I wouldn't come home. I wouldn't come home. I mean, you know, I wouldn't come home. And I'm not. I guess that when I wouldn't come home, you know, I would run away. You know, I would definitely run away. I wouldn't be in a situation like that. I guess each one of us is individually created for whatever reason that we wanted to come to this thing called Earth, or have a spiritual experience as being a being. Because I asked the question, I said, are you a human being or you human? They said, no, you're spiritually being having a human experience. I truly believe that. I truly believe that we are sent here for a purpose. We asked to come here for a purpose. This is our heaven, this is our hell, because life continues on when the physical part is gone. For me, my belief, I'm not saying this belief is for everybody else, but I believe that there's no such thing as death unless God leaves you, and then you're dead. But I believe in when people want to say reincarnation, I believe that we're energy, because they said that we're energy, and energy never fails to exist. We just go to a different entity, you know, maybe become a bird, I don't know, but you know, different things that we become. But I do believe that when you get to that point where somebody is killing that spirit in you, that you have to call the God in you to come out to get you out of it. I do believe that. I do believe.
I'm like, I know I talked to a woman a couple of weeks ago. She's like, she was like, I don't know, I'm ready to get up out of this relationship. She said, this guy basically done beat her to she has nothing left to give. I'm like, she told me a story about one time they went out to a family event.
He beat her at the family event?
The kids' birthday party. They went out to one of these main event or Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. The child's birthday party. They were outside in the parking lot. He was tuning her up outside.
That would have been one Chuck E. Cheese missing somebody, because that wouldn't have happened. You know, that wouldn't happen. I mean,
and her family was inside the establishment. They came outside and had to run out there and get him off her.
no, they wouldn't have. They would have been putting a bag over his body. That wouldn't happen. You know, but one of the things that I always say with domestic violence, it usually is not the first time. You know, when he gets that belligerent with it, he's got a death wish on him. He's got a death wish on him because you know we never know when is our time to expire, right? So we don't know when God's going to take us away from here, whatever. But it's written on our mama's wombs when we created. He can hit her that one time. That could be it. That could be it. Okay, that could be the time that she's expired on earth, right? That's why I said, you know, to be out somewhere and a man physically assaults a woman and nobody jumps in, but everybody's videoing. I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why a woman would. I don't understand it. I don't understand because I watched my mom go through this, and I used to get so mad at my mother. I said, "Why don't you just leave? Just leave. Just go. Just go." Because you know, no child wants to watch their mother get beat up. My mother would cry. She would holler, "I love you. I love you." It become a worse beating. So I told myself as a child, I would never fall in love with anybody because I wasn't going to get beat. And I never was going to let anybody walk up on me and anybody hit me. You know, that just wasn't going to happen. And I watched myself through life and we say, these things don't affect me, but they do affect you when you're a small child and you watch your mama getting beat. You watch your mama scream because when my mother was sick and I was laying in bed with my mom and my mama screamed, I told my mother I had to go. She said, "What's wrong with you?" That brought me right back as a child when I would hear my mother scream and holler. And if you ever hear your mother scream and hollering after beaten or getting beaten, you understand. You will understand why I have made this a life mission to help other people get out of this. Because it not only affects domestic violence, doesn't just affect you. It affects everybody that comes in contact with you. Those that love you, those that have befriended you, your family, your children. Everybody becomes a part of your domestic violence life. That's why they isolate people because you got too many people involved in it. But now we got to the point that we may know about it, but we don't want to do anything about it. You know, I do understand the mental effect of it, the PTSD that comes from it. I understand the trauma that never leaves you. Domestic violence, like rape, molestation. You know it's happened. You know, but you don't, and you remember it like it happened yesterday. You can't remember childbirth. You know that you gave birth to a child, but you don't know how it feels because if you did, you wouldn't do it again. But with domestic violence, you can have a relapse just like that. So I don't believe that domestic violence is curable. I think you live with it. I think you live with it all of your life. You learn to adjust to it. You learn to make it a part of your life. But I don't think you ever heal from domestic violence. Because why? Because you can go right back to that moment and talk about it just like it just happened. Mm-hmm. So anything that you can recall like that, you can't be cured from it. Why are you shaking your head, Walker? I mean, you can't. And so people need to stop saying, I'm a survivor of domestic violence, because you're not a survivor of just domestic violence. You are a person that's been able to live through it, but you're not a survivor, because survivors, they can't recall it. They can't recall the exact moment and have the exact feeling that it felt 10 or 15 years ago. This is why rape is so devastating. You could talk to a woman 30 years old, and she could tell you about her being molested when she was 5. And she will cry and break down. Why? It's because she is still in that moment. Mm-hmm. You know, that moment that you get hurt is the moment you stop growing until you acknowledge this is what stunted me. So a lot of people may be walking around 30 and 40 and 50 years old, but they still have that mentality of a 5-year-old because that's what their hurt occurred at. So they have to go back and revisit that part, and it's very hurtful to go back. My grandmother used to have this old saying. She used to say, go in the mirror and talk to yourself. Because if you go in the mirror and you talk to yourself, you're looking at your eyes. Your eyes is the mirror to your soul. So you're going to reveal one or two things. The hurt is going to come up, or whatever is troubling you is going to come up. And or your solution is going to be there. But we don't teach our children or ourselves anymore to get quiet within ourselves. We tell ourselves, well, people that get quiet within themselves, that's the devil. No, it's not, because that's where God lies at. When you get still, God comes and speaks to you. You can hear what you're supposed to do. You can feel the vibrations of how to get out of whatever you're in. Because what you don't like on the outside, you're definitely not going to like on the inside. So you have to go within to pull it out. That's what they say, you're beautiful inside and outside. And it has nothing to do with the physical appearance, but it has everything to do with the spiritual and the auras that you carry. And I think that this is what we have to do. We have to go into our inner to bring out our outer. We can change this world by our thoughts, because everything is illusion. You know, us sitting here is illusion because we are one. And if you think about it as a child, you question that. How did all these people get here from one God? So we have to be one person, one entity that is split up in thousands and thousands of different ways. I mean, really, because they said we're only 6 degrees away from being related. So that means we're only 6 people away from each one of us being related. And then we're only 3 people away from being disowned, being owned by your own family. Because after 3 generations, your bloodline is cut. So think about it. You know what I'm saying? After 3 generations, you no longer have the same DNA as the rest of them. And you only have the real DNA of your brother, your siblings. So you're closer to your siblings than you are your mother and father. Because y'all share the same, if y'all are the same mother and father, y'all share the same DNA. You know what I mean? People don't think about that. This is why siblings have to be close. It's because they share the same. They produce the same. Your mother and father don't share the same DNA. Unless you're from Mississippi or Arkansas. then you might be sure. but I said, you know, that was an inside joke. But it is what it is. So we have to be careful about what we're putting out in this world, what we're speaking of, what we're saying we can't do. Fear is the number one thing that we have to stop projecting. We have to stop trying to live on fear. Fear has got you locked up in your house going crazy. Fear has got you not even speaking to your own grandparents, you know, that's in nursing homes. We're not checking on them anymore. However, so many people coming down with coronavirus in nursing homes and they don't get visitors. Think about it.
The virus is already in the nursing home.
But think about it. Think about this, and I'm going to leave this with this one thought. They said that they wanted to give out the coronavirus vaccine to the black people in Detroit. This is what I talked about when I first got here, right? Mm-hmm. They want to make sure that they get it first. They still waiting on water. You know what I'm saying? They still waiting on sanitized water. So what is a coronavirus vaccine going to do to black people in Detroit? That should be anytime they want to give us something, and everything that's good is not free. We know that. Our health care, you know, none of that stuff is free. Once again, I want to invite people down that want to be a part of GYRL, that want to do some collaborations in 2021 to our meeting at Saturday. Our leadership meeting will start at 11, and our volunteer meeting will start at 3. You can contact me at GYRL, g.y.org.m.votp, V as in Victor, OTP at gmail.com to reserve your seating or SVP. We're looking to change locations, but right now we're at our office at 3836 Chestnut. And if that changes, we will make a notification of that. Again, tomorrow at 1 p.m., Councilman Brandon Ellington and Mount Sinai Baptist Church will be hosting a food bank, 3846 Brooklyn, with Charles Johnson as the moderator there, get involved, and the No More Excuses Coalition. Um, Thurman.
I'm like, I just mentioned about the food drive tomorrow. I know the Friday before Thanksgiving, we had the line all the way down to 27th of Brooklyn. So I'm like, the event
From
starts
36th in Brooklyn to 27th?
Yeah.
Y'all went
Yeah.
past the highway. I mean, Linwood.
Well, Leah Linwood. But, the police came. They were down there telling us, okay, this line is, people were complaining that we're blocking driveways and whatever down the street, a little bit further down. But yeah, so I would say get there early. You don't have to get out of your car. We've been seeing this. We've been seeing this in a couple of these food distribution people getting out of their vehicle. You do not have to get out of your vehicle. We got plenty of food, so you're not gonna run out.
Okay. Be safe. Peace. We out.